Alright, so today I am back in the beautiful mountains of eastern Pennsylvania. I'm in some excellent timber rattlesnake habitat, and I'm going to be showing you how to find snakes today. And my main target for today is the baby timber rattlesnakes that should be popping up right about now. So let's see what happens. Today I'm searching through some mountaintop rocky outcrops, which provide some excellent habitat for timber rattlesnakes, as well as a few other species. Timber rattlesnakes give birth in September, so that's why I'm here today. Alright, so we've got our first rattlesnake of the day, just sitting out on a rock right there. Alright, so I got a little closer. This guy is an absolutely beautiful yellow phase, and fortunately he hasn't even started rattling yet. So here's another look at this timber rattlesnake from the other angle. Look at that. What a beautiful snake. That's incredible. Now this is a pretty small one, but as you can see, he's very calm. This is one of the most misunderstood species of snake on Earth. One of the things I love about timber rattlesnakes is just how calm they often are, letting me take as many photos as I could possibly want, while most other snakes would be long gone. Alright, so this guy did just start to move a little bit, so he's probably starting to warm up here. But I don't want to spend too much time with this guy because I still want to find some baby timber rattlesnakes. Okay, so I just stopped that video when I found today's main target. Right near where I was standing is this baby timber rattlesnake. Not a very good look at him. Hopefully we'll see some more today. But that is so cool. Alright, so I'm still right by that first one right there, but I just spotted a black phase right over there. He's pretty hard to see from here, so I'll see if I can get a little closer to him, but I wouldn't be surprised if there were a lot more in this area. Alright, here's a bit of a better look at that black phase over there. Another absolutely beautiful snake. I can also see the shed of a baby timber rattlesnake up there, so I know I'm definitely in the right place. Speaking of the baby timber rattlesnakes, this guy's coming back out again. Yeah, unfortunately this guy seems a little shy, but that is still super awesome. Alright, so here's another look at that big black phase. He's moving on down into the rock, and probably she actually, because as you can see, she is surrounded by babies. I'd assume that's the mother. There's one that you can clearly see, and then back in the shadow, there's another one. And I'm sure there are probably plenty more in this area. Alright, so here's another look at these baby timber rattlesnakes. There are actually 3 of them in this area. So there you can see 2, and then right over here is the 3rd one. But either way, I don't want to bother these guys too much, and I'm sure there'll be more to find, so I'm going to leave these guys alone. Alright, I'm still at the same spot, but right here I just noticed yet another baby timber rattlesnake. So now we're at 5 for the day. Look at that. Alright, so here's another look at the first baby timber I found. But the reason I'm showing you this is because now there are 2 of them over here. And not only that, but there's also an adult black phase right there. Alright, so unfortunately it's really bad lighting, but there is yet another baby timber rattlesnake right there. Alright, it seems like every time I'm ready to move on, there's another timber rattlesnake. So right here in this bush, there's another adult black phase timber rattlesnake. Unfortunately, we're not getting great looks at a lot of these, but hopefully that'll change later on. Alright, so I'm getting ready to leave the first spot of the day now, but I ended up finding 4 adult timber rattlesnakes and 7 babies. So already 11 snakes in total, and I haven't even made it to what I think will be the best spot of the day yet. Alright, so as I'm heading to my next spot, I thought this was a good time to describe today's conditions. So it's mid-September right now, which is why I'm up here looking for the baby timber rattlesnakes, because this is the perfect time of year for that. It's about 65 degrees, 10 in the morning, and it's a little windy, but the sky is completely blue. So these snakes are definitely trying to get some of that warm sunshine. So yeah, let's see if we can find any more. Alright, so it looks like we've got another really good open rocky area here. A perfect place for rattlesnakes to bask. Now this is probably the best place to look for rattlesnakes here. This is where I found the most in the past. But unfortunately, this is slightly on the north-facing side of the mountain, so it's not getting much direct sunlight yet. But I still found this guy. This is a big black phase. Look at that. Alright, so here's another look at this big black phase. Just a bit of a size reference. Like, that's a pretty good sized snake. That is just so awesome. Now, as you can see with this guy, he's very dark in color. And that first timber rattlesnake I found was very light yellow. And that just gives you a bit of an idea of the variation you can get in these guys. They have the black phase and the yellow phase. But then you might have noticed with those babies, they all look exactly the same. And so yeah, when they're first born, there's no difference between yellow and black phase. They all have kind of that grayish color with black bands. Alright, so I'm moving on for now. There's not really any other good spots left, but I'm just gonna hike a little bit because I gotta kill some time. And hopefully when I come back, the sun will be hitting these rocks a little bit more and there will be more snakes out. Alright, so I didn't really expect to record anything until I got back to that den site, but I just made it out to this lookout that I've never been to before, and I spotted a timber rattlesnake. So let me get you guys a closer look at that guy. So here's the view, and then right over here, underneath this rock ledge, there's a timber rattlesnake. Alright, here's a bit of a closer look at this timber rattlesnake. It's a yellow phase, not a very big one, but what's special about this guy is that it's my 50th rattlesnake of the year, which is really awesome. Alright, so I'm on my way back now, but yeah, that was pretty cool. I didn't expect to see a timber rattlesnake there, and actually I saw a lot of sheds, and some of them were babies. So maybe if I got here a little bit earlier, I would have actually seen some more baby timber rattlesnakes. But yeah, I'm hoping by the time I get back, it's not too late, and there'll be some more rattlesnakes out. So yeah, I'll see you there. Alright, so now I'm back at the den site. It's around 1 p.m. and it has heated up quite a bit. It's around 75 degrees now. So let's see if there's any more timber rattlesnakes. Alright, so right here we have an adult yellow phase and a few more babies. That is really cool. Let's get a closer look. So here's another look at those guys. And right over the edge of this rock is a black phase. That's really cool. Alright, so I just found another angle where I can actually see under this rock. There are so many baby timber rattlesnakes under there. That is crazy. Alright, here's another look. You can pretty clearly see the big yellow one back there, but then look at all the babies. That's crazy. Look at that, they just keep going. That is awesome. Alright, so I really don't like using a snake hook with these venomous snakes, but I just couldn't resist. I really wanted to get a nice look at one of these baby timber rattlesnakes. And here it is right here. Now, it's shaking its tail a lot, but it hasn't grown a rattle yet, so you're not hearing much. And here's a look at my hand here for size reference. Now, even at this size, they can deliver a fatal bite, so I don't want to get too close. I'm so glad I'm able to get a nice good look at one like this. All right, here's one last look. Put him right up in there, where I got him from. After I released that baby rattlesnake, I started heading back towards the car. And as I passed through more habitat, I kept seeing more and more of them. I saw a big pile in this bush, but I couldn't get the camera on them quite fast enough. Either way, this is where I'll be ending this video, so I really hope you learned something about finding snakes. And as always, thanks for watching.